Today's video is all about breakups, right? These are never fun. This is a hard time. I know my soul has felt so crushed in the aftermath of a relationship ending. It's incredibly hard, but I want to give you a few things to be considering that I think will really help you navigate this time well. And definitely stay tuned to the end, because I think the one last thing I'll be giving will really help you to remember and to frame a breakup in the appropriate way. Stay tuned. I'm Christopher Gill, and I've spent time thinking about relationships, studying them. I want to be your best friend, your brother, your daddy, and I hope that we can continue growing and talking about anything. Let's dive in. Over the last few weeks, I've really been concentrating on mindset and how I look at things in life. And I realized something about myself that may ring true for you that I wanted to bring up and talk about. I've been blessed with an incredible life. I've been blessed with an incredible relationship. And I've done a lot of work on these areas of my life to get there and to have a business and to have these blessings. And I'm fully aware of the blessings that I have, but I realized that I also look at the world through a lens of scarcity. Basically meaning that I don't think there is enough good. I think there is a finite amount of good things, and that maybe I've received all the good things I'm going to get or that I'm owed or that will come my way. And so I have to really hold on to white knuckle the good that I want to see into existence. And I realize that attitude is, again, it's pervasive across my entire life, but it absolutely rings true in how I view relationships, and even specifically how I view a breakup. And what I mean by that is, if you truly are able to believe, and this is a difficult thing to believe, but I think we can all look at our lives and see patterns of good coming into our lives as we are working, as we are trying, as we are pushing, we see good progressing, good multiplying, good getting even gooder in our lives. And even the fact that you are on YouTube, you have an ability to watch content, your brain is able to desire the content that you found with me, to desire the kind of connection we have. This is all a testament to a lot of good happening in your life. So how do you view a breakup? Do you view a breakup as a redirection and that there is good still to come for you? Or do you view a breakup in the form of scarcity? And the title of this video is When the Perfect One Gets Away. And I think we many times believe that, right? We have this idea that the perfect one was there and that we messed it up, or they messed it up, or they didn't appreciate it, or I didn't appreciate it, or something wrong happened in the relationship, and that there is no way it can ever be that good again. And I think this attitude, when it comes to viewing relationships and viewing people, can create a lot of very negative things. It can create people staying in relationships much longer than they should, relying on partners that they really shouldn't rely on, people who aren't showing up for them, people that are abusive, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, but they permit abuse to remain. They allow themselves to be abused because they do not believe in abundance. They believe in scarcity. They have a scarcity mindset, and they are scared, so scared to either be alone because I can't handle that, or that, man, I've got this relationship, I got someone to commit to me, and that if I don't hold on to this, if I don't protect this, I may never have this again. What a horrible, limiting perspective to have on relationships and to have on our lives. So when you're dealing with a breakup, how are you handling it? How are you viewing it? Are you viewing that there is a good future for you, that there is still good for you, that the universe is quite literally rigged in your favor, that you're able to rely on yourself and the work that you're doing on yourself, you're getting better, you're improving, and that the universe is going to reward that. Your life is going to be rewarded, right? That there will be a karma balancing of the good that you're putting into the world with good coming back to you. Or do you believe this is it? There's not going to be any good. There's not going to be any more out there for me. And this, of course, does not mean to have a cavalier relationship about someone, or about trying and leaning in and working to fix problems and working to show up. This doesn't mean that people are disposable, that people are expendable, that as soon as something doesn't go right, you just leave, right? I think that would be an example of you not showing up, of you not putting your best out into the world. But if you've come to a place where you've realized this relationship really does not serve me anymore, that it needs to transition into something else, we need to either take some time apart, or we need to be friends, or something else at this this point, but how do you view that time? Is it through a scarcity lens or is it through an abundance lens? Furthermore, do you think you're really able to further your cause of pulling in abundance and good into your life if you have an undertone, if you've got a little voice in your head that's telling you everything is negative, right? If that's all you're hearing, that's probably what you're going to attract. That's probably what you're going to notice. That's probably what you're going to see. And that's probably what you're going to manifest more of in your life versus saying, wow, that was a crazy, amazing experience. I learned so much. This person helped me in this area, in this area, in this area. I grew, they grew. It didn't work out. Feel that emotion, feel that sadness. It's very real. This is not something that's fun. It's not something that's easy. But over all of that, knowing that my life is abundant, my life is good, my life has more good for me, and I'm excited and I'm ready and receptive to receive that good. So what should you do? What is an appropriate response to a painful breakup? First off, as I mentioned earlier, I think you need to feel the emotions. I think you need to sit with the emotions. You need to acknowledge that there's pain, acknowledge that there's sadness, acknowledge that there is probably some guilt, and that you are working through these things and allowing yourself to feel them. Again, I don't believe stuffing emotions is a good thing to do. Secondly, I think you need to love on yourself. You may be in a position where you've had some negative self-talk come in, right? You felt bad. You've owned your portion of the breakup. And even though you may realize it's a good thing to end the relationship, that still doesn't make it any less difficult. So I think you need to remind yourself, actively remind yourself of how amazing you are. Take yourself on dates, go on a trip, do things to minister to your soul that get yourself back to a state of equilibrium where you're able to focus on the abundance, where you're able to focus on the good and really lean into that as your experience. Third, don't isolate. And this is something that I really have a problem with. As I feel when I'm in a bad state, I'm feeling negative, that I don't want to put that onto the world. I definitely don't want to put that on my friends, and that I just need to kind of be in my shell. I need to be with myself, and I need to figure this out. That is an incredibly negative thing to do. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your friends. It's not you showing that they are able to come to you when they need help, when they need to be vulnerable. And I think many of us are much easier and much better at receiving someone else and helping them instead of asking for someone else to show up and help us. So don't isolate. Be willing to ask for help. Be willing to ask for support when you need it, and put yourself around friends and people that care about you, that lift you up, that are able to see the good in you, and you may not see that in yourself. And again, remind you of the abundance that is your reality, that is your life. Next, don't assume that the future is going to be like the past. I know it's an easy thing to do, and this is something our brain has trained us to do as a survival mechanism, to take past experiences and say, well, if this is what happened in the past, this is what's going to happen in the future. And that's an incredibly negative thing to do. It does not support you. It does not help you to grow. And it doesn't really even give credence that things have gotten better in your life many, many times. Things have not happened once negatively, and then it always happens negative, right? Normally something negative happens, we learn from it, and then things get better. So you need to remind yourself that just because he was unfaithful, just because she was a jerk, just because she wasn't able to deal with her emotions, does not mean that every boyfriend or girlfriend you have after that is going to be exhibiting those same traits. You also need to do your next partner the service of coming to this relationship with a clean slate, right? Obviously having the knowledge that you have, but not putting that knowledge, not putting that negativity, not assuming that your next partner is going to show up and is going to act just the way your previous partner did. And finally, I think you really need to lean into good, right? You need to lean into an attitude of abundance. You need to go be of service. When we're of service, it helps us to take our minds out of our little brain, and it quiets that voice in our heads. We're able to see that we can show up for someone else, that we can be a benefit to society. We can be a blessing to our friends. We can be an encouragement. And when we're able to see that we're able to encourage others, we're able to much more readily receive the good, receive the abundance, and receive the encouragement that comes back to our lives. I hope these tips were helpful. I know breakups are not easy. There are times of incredible emotional strife and strain, but I really think handling them in the right way is incredibly important. And realizing, do we have an attitude of abundance or scarcity around our lives and relationships? And if we have an attitude of abundance, if we agree that there is more good in the world for us, then we need to be willing to release what is not meant for us and lean into the exciting future that we have in store.